Hi, this is Tracy Keller with Rise to It. You were made for more. Today is going to be awesome. I have Haley with me, and I have known Haley since she was 12 years old. I used to do her dryland training.
Yeah.
She's been in swimming for years, ever since I've known her, and now she is swimming in college. And we have had a relationship mainly with working out. Over this last several years, we've had some sessions on eating.
Mm-hmm.
When we started at 12 years old, I want you to tell everyone, what was your relationship with food like at 12? Can you remember?
I mean, at 12, I've always loved food, and I was always a junk food, connoisseur. So every, prize or after a big meet or after a hard practice, it would always be, a treat or food, and I had no issues with that, and,
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted you to talk
So,
about. There wasn't a problem
wasn't a
with it.
problem. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It's all I thought about a lot of times, and, so everything was good at 12. Yeah.
Yes. So, as you got older, tell me where that relationship with food started to change.
I want to say it was, senior year of high school, freshman year of college for sure, where I kind of started to notice, what I was putting in my body and, the outcomes I was getting, and, how my body was changing as I got older, which I was never used to, at 12.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay, so when you were saying how your body was changing physically, but also performance-wise, were you
Yeah.
noticing a difference, in the pool, your times when you would eat a certain way versus
Yeah.
the junk food?
Yeah.
That kind of thing?
I mean, when I was growing up and stuff, I'd always eat super healthy, before a big meet and stuff, but then, I mean, I don't eat bad, and I didn't used to eat horrible, but I noticed when I, wasn't regulating what I was eating in freshman year of college, and a dorm is super hard to eat really healthy because you have a cafeteria and you eat kind of what they serve. So
You don't have as much control.
yeah, I couldn't control it at all, and all my friends were eating there, so I would eat there and eat the food without really knowing anything about it or what's
Right.
in it or what it's made with. So
And how did that affect your body?
I mean, I was the heaviest I ever was, or I've ever been, and I just looked so negatively on myself, and I would look in the mirror and hate my body, but not do anything about it and not know what to do, since I wasn't cooking my food. That's really all I could do.
And you have a very health conscious mom.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
when you're at home, I know she
Yeah.
cooks extremely healthy.
Yeah, so it was kind of a
So-
shock to the system
Uh-huh.
last year when I went away from my mom's cooking at home to dorm food that obviously not many choices and they don't really care. So
Yeah. And you were still swimming all the time, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like you were sedentary at
Mhm.
all. And
Yeah.
even with the swimming, you were struggling a little bit
Yeah.
with the. So that brings us to this past Christmas. Haley had made she was home for Christmas and had made an appointment, a couple of appointments. We met a few times, and she really made some huge changes. And I say huge, and yet they were simple. We did not redo her whole entire diet, but there were some simple things on top of the fact that you were moving into a place where you had
Yeah.
a little more control.
I guess
too.
this is what we talked about in August.
Yes, in August. That's right.
Yeah.
It was in August because you did the first year in the dorm,
Yeah.
and with that kind of food and not having a lot of control. So
Yeah.
she came to me in August, and I want you to tell them a little bit about those first couple of sessions, what we talked
Yeah.
about and the direction that we went.
Well, we kind of talked about food and image, and just you asked me a lot of questions about how I perceived myself, or how I perceived food, not the actual food itself, and stuff like that. And it was just kind of, we talked about little things that I could do instead of like a huge change that isn't sustainable at all. So we just talked about little things and little image like shifts we could make that would be super easy, like day to day.
Tell me one or two of those things that you immediately took hold of and started doing right away. Because you made some body-wise with just those little shifts. Your body responded extremely well. So what were some of the takeaways for you?
I mean, one that we talked about was super simple, like eating a really big lunch, which I still think about like every day now. Where like if you eat a really big lunch, you won't be as hungry for dinner, so you won't be eating like a huge dinner like I was before.
And the thing about eating a big lunch is our metabolism is actually the highest when the sun is at its highest. So there is actually a benefit to eating a very large lunch versus, you know, starving ourselves. And sometimes it's just a matter of we get busy. A lot of times it's we starve ourselves and we're trying to control our appetites, and it's not the way to do it. So okay, you definitely took that to heart.
So I did that. So I was eating less like at night when you just kind of go to sleep after. So what else?
We talked a lot about slowing down while you eat.
Oh, that's a huge one. That's a huge one I think about now. I like, even every night, like at school or anything, I'll be sitting at the dining table and I'll be starving for dinner, and I'll just start like going and then be like, hold on, take a moment, walk around a little bit, like
take a couple deep breaths,
break.
We talked about the benefits of getting your body into a relaxed state. And by doing that is what she was just saying, is like, okay, wait a minute, I don't have to shovel all this down. I can take a few deep breaths and see the benefits of that. The other thing was how you viewed your body. So how have you done with that? I mean, you look amazing. You do. You're super healthy. And at that time when you didn't feel so amazing and you didn't feel so healthy, how did you take that advice of like, where am I now? Can I embrace right where I am right now versus do I have to change in order to love myself, or can I love myself now? How did you do with that? That's what I want to know.
I mean, in the beginning it was really hard because I would look at myself and be like, why isn't this part of my body smaller? Or like, how can I become more muscular in this part? And instead of kind of looking in the mirror and critiquing everything that I saw, I would kind of be like, wow, I have really nice abs today, or like I really like my arms, or like I'm so muscular, like I need to love that about myself. And that's
finding the things that you love.
Instead of looking in the mirror and just
critiquing
all of the stuff that I want to improve about my body. And that's definitely something I've taken to college and like tried to talk to like my roommates or like my friends about, because I definitely think that's something we all could improve at school, especially like being our age in college.
And you think about, if you talked about your friends the way you talk about yourself, you wouldn't have any friends.
I would.
So if we could just be as nice to ourselves as we are to our best friends, we can actually change our metabolism by talking better about ourselves and lifting ourselves up and finding the things we love. So with all that being said, so now that was in August. How are you doing now? So Haley's home for spring break. She's still on a very strict schedule at school, but you've done so well. How have you embraced those things? What are you doing with those things now? And how have you influenced your teammates and friends with what you've learned?
Well, now I kind of changed my idea about food, or like how I think about it. I still love it as much as I always have, but
so good.
So
good. You
but
don't want to be afraid of food.
I know. Like I've always loved it, and so I don't want to take that away from my life, because it's something I love. Like I want to embrace that. But I've kind of learned to love healthier food. Like I've learned to love the process of cooking. Like I look forward to that every day at school, which is something I never thought I would really look forward to, like making a healthy dinner.
So good.
But I love that, and I think me and my roommate have definitely like helped each other with that, and it's so much easier to do that with your best friend. Like,
that's so true. Accountability is huge
Yeah.
in this. If you have like-minded people and you influence those people in healthy, positive ways, it's just so much easier to carry it out.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I've kind of brought to her like what I've learned here, and you know, every day we'll like look in the mirror and be like, okay, you have really nice legs, or like, you look great today, like what are you doing? Or like,
that's so good.
So instead of like just critiquing each other, like we'll bring each other up and like say like, okay, but what do you mean, like you're so skinny, like you look so good, or like you've been eating so healthy, like you don't deserve to talk about yourself
there
like
you
that.
go.
And
keeping
like
each other accountable on your words.
So we definitely like stop each other if we start like thinking negatively, and it's so much easier like with someone than doing it just in your head.
Okay, let me ask you one last question before we go. Is this something that's sustainable? Is this something you can continue? Can you see yourself looking at food the way you're looking at it now, treating your body the way it deserves to be treated for the rest of your life, versus so often we get on these diet kicks and we start, okay, I'm gonna get down to this weight for this particular event, and you really did change your body through these little techniques and just the little things. So can you see yourself doing it forever?
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing anything different now, because I've learned to like obviously like love what I'm doing every day. Like, I look forward every single day to cooking a healthy dinner. Like, that's not something I make myself do, or like it's just something I've learned to
it's the whole mindset of looking at it totally different. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today, and I just encourage you to rise to it, to take that step of talking about yourself the way you would a best friend, eating slow, loving healthy meals, like that little mind shift, and watch your life change one moment at a time. And I love what you said about I still love food, because I want that relationship with food to be a solid, beautiful relationship where you love the taste of it. You actually taste your food and enjoy it. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I encourage you, rise to it.